hello, candidates. Jacqueline May. I own up Plato Customs up in Paleto. My question is more directed towards Mr. Wrangler here, and I
All
have
right.
it noted down here. So I've read your article, and I've heard your speech, and you said you've helped Paleto gross tens of millions of dollars.
Yep.
If that was the case, why have you, when you're working in my business for the full year of 2023, only grossed about $6,000?
Huh. May I ask
And
who you're getting that question from?
what do you mean, who am I getting my question from? It's from me.
Okay.
I'm the owner.
Okay. Well, partially, I was busy working at some of the other businesses.
Okay, does this also include the pet business that you rarely ever opened, or Mojito Inn that you've really ever worked at?
Let's see. Polito Pits, over the course of the winter, part of the reason it closed was because we closed for a winter because, one, pets are pet comfort, and two, we had a bit of business sabotage done by one of your partners, Gary Devlin.
Okay. And when he offered to buy the business from you to care for the animals that you have kept locked up in that shop for God knows how many months, and this is probably coming out of your tens of millions of dollars of revenue, you wanted to sell it to him for $7.5 million.
Yes, that is correct.
How did you perceive that amount?
Part of that was inflated due to the fact that I didn't really want to sell it at the time.
Okay, but when offered the opportunity to have your pets continue to take care of and to make sure that that business up in Paleto was continued to taken care of, you decided to turn into a petty thing and not, decide to turn it into greed instead of the care for the animals.
Uh, well, no, that's not the case at all.
That sounds like that's the case.
This is the result of a whiny bitch who wanted to buy a business and couldn't handle being told no.
Well, I mean, that kind of answers my question. And I mean, again, and you even stated yourself with your criminal record, I wouldn't even trust you in any form of government, but that is what it is, especially, the way your defunct MC kind of fell apart. So,
Thank you, Miss May, for
thank
your
you.
questions. I believe we have a couple more people queued up. Mr. McKenzie from the Department of Commerce and Labor. Um,
My name is Wyatt McKenzie. I am the Assistant Commissioner over at DOCL. I do have three questions real quick, but I'll make them really quick for everybody if that's okay. Or I can keep coming up, it doesn't matter. The first one is for candidate Dracul. Are you willing to disclose this evening if you have received any campaign donations from any businesses? I ask this because you're currently clocked into the Den as a business while you're here at the debate.
I have not gotten any business donation. I'm going to
Okay.
tell you that right now. So, yeah.
My second question is for all the candidates. So how should DOCL handle business owners or employees who are caught doing crime on the clock or at their business's premises?
I can start with that. I think dependent on the crime, I think it could be handled in stages. I think warnings could be given out if something is more severe. Maybe it is a forced requirement for that business to fire the employee, up to and including maybe suspension if the employee continues to do wrong or does something that is so incredibly heinous and the employer refuses to take action. Maybe even encourages it.
All right.
You basically already have procedures in place for that, correct?
We do have some procedures in place, yes.
Some procedures?
Yes, we're working on changing those or seeing how those could be adapted, which is why we're curious of your guys' input.
Well, If I'm elected, I would just love to sit down with you and talk it out with you and see
Mhm.
what you guys think and how you feel, because you're honestly the experts in that field. And I think we should kind of go majority with what you probably feel, as long as it's reasonable and all the other legislators agree. I think we should just figure it out with you guys. Yeah.
Definitely.
Y- In my
I'd
experience,
actually. Oh, yep. Go ahead. Sorry, my
in
bad.
my experience, I've always been fine with the current uh, requirements of that. I haven't personally experienced an issue, but I'd love to see where the current process's weak points are. If you'd like the opportunity to sit down with that.
I would love to sit down and discuss that more. Yeah.
For me, honestly, Conrad Knives here said the best. Sit down with you, talk about it, go over what you guys have as future positions on that, and then see what would work best, and then watch it actually happen and flourish.
Definitely. Cool.
I hate to be that guy, but I'm in agreement with everybody else.
I'll take it.
This is just one of those things that it's going to require the sit down and not something that we come up off the cuff of our hands and be beholden to.
Definitely. All right, and my final question for you all this evening. We've briefly discussed this idea of a representative pool, but do you believe that we need specific legislation surrounding our nonprofit businesses? Do you have any rough, loose ideas about what that could look like?
Yeah. Do we have any right now? Sorry.
No, currently we do not.
Yeah, we definitely should probably look into getting something for that. It might not need to be heavy-handed, but there should be, like, if you're claiming you're non-profit and there's no legislation to make sure you uphold to that, then I definitely think that should be the case, because to be non-profit, you do need to fit a certain criteria, and like literally people cannot be profiting. So people can be making money, but the corporation cannot be profiting in any sort of way. So yeah, we would need some sort of legislation. So you know what? That's actually, I didn't know that, and that is a good thing to look into probably sooner than later.
I agree.
Probably a good starting point to figure out what your existing concerns are right now and address those. I can only imagine some of them would be considering fraud.
hmm
So I think having a good sit down just to see what your current mindset is right now would probably be the best path forward.
I do have to agree, yeah. Having a sit down with you guys, getting some sort of legislation in place so that way there's some guidelines, some rules, some protocols that have to be met would be better than having it be a free for all and having it being a wild wild west out there with nonprofits. There's ample room without any kind of rules for people to, like the other two have said already, for fraud to happen. And we need to make it so that everybody's held accountable to the different regulations. We've already got regulations for businesses. Um, Probably should get those for the nonprofits as well. But the only way we can do that is actually by, once again, sitting down with you guys and actually discussing it and figuring out a game plan that would work best for everybody.
hmm Awesome. Well, that's all the questions I had. Thank you all for discussing with me. I hope you all have a good rest of your evening.